this beautiful rock floating around in space. A beautiful time to be alive. Some people might don't believe the hype when it comes to the fear and all the stuff they're trying to throw out there. Believe you me, it's a beautiful time to be alive, and you should be happy that you accepted this contract to be here this day and time. You feel me? You
Indeed.
know what I'm saying? So, indeed, Polka Dot Rabbit podcast, of course, we are here to uplift humanity overall because we do know what day and time it is. And us as the caretakers of this planet, in the cosmos, we have to help and uplift humanity. In addition, we are Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. We're here to uplift and help awaken the woolly haired beings, melanated beings that have been asleep for 6,000 years plus, and are finally starting to wake up. And if you haven't already, of course, please go to polkadotrabbitpodcast.com and pick up the book Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. This book explains a lot of the questions people always ask me about the diversity of my subjects, the diversity of what I got going on and different things, and explains it all in the book, and it all makes sense. Of course, if you haven't already, please follow the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast, like and share this, spread the word, because tonight is going to be a very powerful, powerful message. Um, very powerful presenter is on the other line with us, and this is a good brother I've known for a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's always good for me to have genuine, sincere, good teachers of us being Nuwapian teachers from students of Dr. Malachi York. Very honored to have a good brother here today with us. And go ahead, brother. Could you please tell them who you are, what you got going on, and
First of all, Rahu back greetings to everyone out there. All right. And of course, it's your host, Nysut, known throughout the social media world as Nysut. All right. As I say, my slaying, I say when I come on, is life is easy. All right. And the lie is being reversed. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about me and how I came into this truth. All right. It happened about, I think, around about, I turned, I turned 22. Right. That's how I started my journey. So at the age of 22, I started my journey. All right. At 22 years old. It's interesting because my life path number is 22. So I started my journey at 22 years old. All right. I had an epiphany. What happened is I had a car accident, and I had this car accident 2 days before Thanksgiving. It happened 3 times. All right. And that was like, to me, at first, I didn't know what was going on, but I had kept having encounters with spiritual people. And that during that time, I didn't have access to right knowledge, you know what I'm saying, information, so to speak. All right. So it was more like Christian people that was tapped into the spirit realm at a high degree approaching me. Those were the people that, Pasalafo, known as our ancestors, they was putting those individuals in my path. And they was just like, man, come to church, come to church, come to church. Right. And I kept having an accident. So finally, I ran into a tree one night. I was out somewhere doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was, I was hole hopping, going from woman to woman, etc., etc. And that time I wound up going to the wrong woman, and that was the end for me because I wound up running to a tree that night, and I went to sleep. I think I was drunk off some Hennessy, and I had heat on, and then I fell asleep. I woke up just in time to stop at the stop sign, but when I stopped, I flew right into the tree. Smile, you know what I'm saying? It was like a movie. And the funny thing about it, if I wasn't drunk, I probably won't be talking to you right now. All right, the alcohol relaxed my muscles so much, all right, to the point where it actually saved my life. You know what I'm saying? It saved me. You know what I'm saying? And it saved me for this very moment that we dealing with today, the moment that we need today to bring y'all this powerful, powerful message that I'm about to bring y'all today. All right. So then I wound up going to church. Long story short, I met a couple people, then I wound up going to church and I got baptized around about 2011 on October 30. After that, everything started to shift for me. Then I say after about a year, when I committed myself to the Bible and to the spirit realm, then I was ready for a higher truth. So then people like Morris Science people started being put in my path. A brother from the Morris Science Temple started being put in my path. And then he enlightened me. You know what I'm saying? He would walk up to me and say, he like, man, look, did they tell you? I said, what did they tell you? He said, did they tell you it was Jesus? I said, what? I said, I ain't heard that one, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I ain't never heard that one. Nobody never told me I'm Jesus. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I didn't know. So I'm just like, all right, man. But every day I seen him, I was looking forward to see him. You follow? I was always looking forward to see him because he was saying things I hadn't heard before. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so then I got the knowledge and he gave me what did I get? The Circle 7. I got the Circle 7, then I started studying Noble Ali doctrine. And then I started getting in Black Laws Dictionary, I started reading maps and start learning about our inheritance of America, learning about the heritage of America, learning about my indigenous to America and stuff like that. And I kind of got into that. Then after that, then here we go. Then I run into the most craziest people on the planet. All right, NUWAUPIans. All right, they sit on the corner out in 5 Points in downtown Atlanta, and they out there teaching. They talking about spacecrafts and everything. I'm like, man, boy. I said, boy, I thought the Moors was crazy, and then I run into some more even crazier people than them. I'm like, damn. I like what, and they showed me a being. They say, it's like I got this book here. They say this being here, Ponda Babanu. They say, man, he's from another planet. And then he wrote a book called Man from Planet Riz here, which I got right here, which I'll briefly go into. See the Man from Planet Riz, y'all. This still live and available. This is a very powerful book for those who don't have it. The Man from Planet Riz.
One of my favorite books all time.
Yeah. So I started connecting with him, and then a brother gave me a book called Genetic Kiss. But one of my first books, an elder gave me a book. He called me the book called The Procession Shift. It was a Patara called Procession, and that was the first book I had. He gave me another book too. I can't remember what it was, but it was Procession. And so it's very important that you remember the first book that you ever read by Dr. York. All right, everybody know they very first book that sparked them. Now, one of the books that sparked me the most was the Holy Tablets. All right, the mind portion in the Holy Tablet in chapter 1. Chapter 1 go into the creation of everything, the creation story, and how everything got, how everything started. All right, so that's one of the most powerful parts of the Holy Tablet. But the Holy Tablet gets deep now. It's really deep. I'm talking about, like, when I say it was deep, I mean, when I say that Ponda Babanu, known as Dr. York, when I say that he predicted his kidnapping all the way down to the T before it actually happened in the years that they was going to lock him up, is right in the Holy Tablets. That's how deep it gets. Like, he know how many years he was going to be locked up for. All right. And no one has come to the planet and ever done that before. We haven't seen it yet. All right. That don't mean we ain't going to see more people step up and do that, But in that time period, he was the first person to come like that. All right. But if you was to ask me, Honorable Elijah Muhammad is an extraterrestrial. All right. Because even the master teacher explained that Honorable Elijah Muhammad was Creole. But just like going back into me. So I found the doctrine about some 10 odd years ago, around about 2012. All right. During the first shift. All right. Okay. Prior to that, I was a youth minister. I taught in the church. I received a certificate in divinity, and I taught in the church for a number of years. All right, prior to my awakening. When I woke up, I started dumping all my stuff. It was so crazy because I had to dump everything. You follow? I had to throw stuff away because it was crazy. Because then I met a guy from Philadelphia because we talking about the UFO stuff, and then he told me, he started talking to me about aliens and stuff. I said, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And he was saying that he was living in Arizona and he saw a 10 or a 10-footer. A 10-footer is about like this. And he saw a 10-footer. He was on the roof because he was homeless outside. And he saw a 10-footer on the roof with a spacecraft, hop in it and drive through the through the planet. All right. He went to the ozone later and off the planet. Like a small 10-footer right in Arizona. He said he's seen about at least about 7 to 8, 9 UFOs. Or no, I wouldn't even say IFO. Because I'm gonna get into that right now. A UFO is an unidentified object, so it's a UFO, right? Those are extraterrestrials. The IFOs are identified objects, meaning those particular ships was created right here in on the planet. All right. China got IFOs, Russia got IFOs, maybe the US have IFO, the Egyptians had IFOs. All right. If you go back to the walls on the pyramid, they show you they had IFOs out there. All right. So it's not a new thing. So yeah, so that's how I started. I got sparked in my life from a crash. All right. It transformed my whole life. And then I went into studying all the doctrine, became a NUWAUPIan, be known as Sabians today. And then I evolved from there. But it was a long, man. And then, on this journey, I lost a lot of friends, lost a lot of family members, because like I say, when you start talking like this, when you start telling them that Jesus, the person they have been waiting on to come back, is not coming back. But not only is he not coming back, the person that's coming back is them. They're the second coming of Jesus. And they be like, what? That's crazy. How can you say that? You blaspheming. You see what I'm saying? They say you're blaspheming. You know what I'm saying? They call you blaspheming and stuff like that, because a blasphemer, because you saying that they're Christ. And they don't even realize they Christ. All right, and they don't even realize they the second coming of Jesus. All right, and we're gonna get into that a little bit into this section. So
So
that's how
I
it came
so
about.
I Okay, no, that's beautiful. It's always beautiful for me to hear other individual stories, man, because it's like a lot of us that are on this path, we have similar stories. You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting. Also, you were talking about the IFOs, because you know how the media always puts the truth out in front of us if you know what you're looking for. Because I remember the last couple episodes of the X Files, right? And I don't know if you saw that, but they pretty much put it in plain sight that they showed the distinction between the IFOs, in which they ships that they made, you know what I'm saying, as far as the government made, and other UFOs ships that weren't there. So let me ask you this: what? Okay, so you got IFOs. How did they get the technology to build the IFOs? That's the first question.
Well, according to, like I said, according to all the information that uh Dr. York put out, and a lot of other people, because this is not him. You got other scientists out there that put information out there too, and they explained it. Well, I think in about around about the 60s or something like that. It was what's his name, David Eisenhower, the president. He made a contract with Grays from Zeta Reticuli. All right, and during that contract period, he traded actual Caucasians for technology. All right, because those like those different beings, not just the Zeta Reticuli beings, they gave them technology. Uh, they gave them what's that? They gave them 3D printing. All right, the 3D printing machines. They got that from those Zeta Reticuli beings. They showed them how to use 3D. All right, in real time. All right, they told them how to transfer consciousness. All right, so that they can live forever. Take their consciousness and put it in another body. All right. So with the extraterrestrial stuff is how they got the technology on the ships is every time a ship come in this atmosphere, if they shoot it down. All right. So when they shoot the ship down, right, of course they capture the beings that's in the ship, and then they start to what? They start to do an excavation on that particular UFO or UFO unidentified object. All right. And they put their scientists to study everything about the IFO. All right. What runs it, what powers it, you know what I'm saying? What fuel it uses and stuff like that. And what they found out was we already knew that all spaceships run off what you call the 115th element called Omicron. All right. Omicron. And that's the 115th element. All right. And the 115th element power all spaceships. All right. But what they didn't know is that the spaceships, when they come into different galaxies or different planets, uh, the pyramids on each planet is a charging device. All right, it's a charging pad. All right, that's how they got the device where you can take your cell phone and you can sit it on the pad and it charge it up. They got that from pyramid technology, because the pyramid charged the spaceships like that. The point on the pyramid is a conductor. All right, that sends electrical frequency. All right, so what they do is they rectify the energy that the pyramid photosynthesized from the sun, called tachyonic energy. And by the way, tachyonic energy is the fastest moving particle. It comes from the Greek word tachy, which means fast or swift. All right. So it's the fastest moving particle in the universe. All you gotta look is called tachyon energy. All right. And that's what the pyramid harness. That's what the pyramid pull in, tachyonic energy, tachyonic frequency. And some people are calling this tachyon energy neutrinos. All right. And neutrinos comes from behind the sun. All right. Now keep this in mind. That energy been out there for millions and billions and eons, for cycles. All right. A lot of people, like a lot of us, are just now becoming familiar with the energy that's been out there for decades. All right. So yeah. So the pyramids charge up each of spaceship. So every time they come into this planet, they have to stop. They got to stop and get gas. Just like you have to get gas in your vehicle when they run out of gas. You have to stop at a gas station. So that's how they wind up getting technology on how to build an IFO
Okay.
from capturing
It,
aliens and stuff like that.
Okay, so it's interesting. You go on to something. It might sound out there, but you're talking science. So that everything you said is, people scientists are talking about it. So that's not, it's not too far fetched. Now, I want to talk about something because you were talking about like the sun, tachyon energy, and neutrinos, and I remember that movie. I think it was 2012, and they
Hmm.
talk about the shift. You know what I'm saying? That the shift that happened and the pole shifting and et cetera. And it could you go into, the planetary pole shift? When has it happened and et cetera, and what do you expect and what happens beyond that?
Okay, so with the planet, let's go back with pole shift, right? So the polar shift that's occurring now is called a cycle of the sun. So the sun has a pole shift too, which the pole shift of the sun cycles every 11 years. I say every 9 and 11 years because the calendar is off about 2 to 3 years. All right. So it's not really accurate. Okay. So every 11 years, the sun actually, the magnetic fields of the sun reverse. All right. So the last 11 years, which supposed to change in 2020, it was going clockwise. Now, since the changing of the polar shift of the sun, is going counterclockwise. So everything is moving in a natural orbiting now. It's going in its natural rotation, which is counterclockwise. The original spinning of the planet was counterclockwise, not clockwise. All right. When the planet shifted, it started going clockwise, which what it is when it went clockwise, it moved you further away from the nucleus, which is the sun. The sun is the nucleus of your planet, like the nucleus of an atom. If you look in the atom, you have protons and electrons. So the actual sun of that proton or the atom is called a nucleus. All right. In a nucleus, it charges the protons and electrons as the protons orbit around, which again, so you got the nucleus, which also can be the Milky Way, and then you got protons and electrons, which can be your sun and your moon. All right. But what people fail to realize is we have a 600-mile long sun in the center of the Earth, going at the core of the Earth, right? And how that sun got there is a whole nother story. As we get deep into this thing, y'all will see how all that got there. And okay, so like back to what you were saying with the polar shift. So the pole shifting is happening now in 2023. That's why you got all these natural disasters happening. You seen Southern California where they got the snow happening over there in Southern California, and now that the snow melted, it's flooding now. They saying they having a problem with the rivers and stuff. South Central LA is flooding right now as we speak. All right, and they said it's a possibility that New York is going to flood in weeks to come. They saying New York is going to actually flood. All right. So now, right now, the elites they're ordering people to get off of the coastal lines. All right. So these billionaires and these millionaires, they have their money and they taking their money and they getting off the coastal lines. All right. So you have to keep in mind these people are getting off the coastal lines. All right. And if you over there on the coast, what you want to do is you want to do your best if you can best to get off from coastline. All right. There's a map that everybody should get. It's called I Am America map. All right. If you don't have the I Am America map, you need to get it. If for Sabians out there, the America map is in the NUWAUPIC calendar book. If you got an old NUWAUPIC calendar book, look in the NUWAUPIC calendar book and it'll show you the I Am America map. All right. That's going to be very important as we move forward. I won't drop that's that much. All right, because it's not for everybody. All right. But for those of you, if you listen with a kind ear, you'll get your hands on the I America map. All right. So you'll know where to go and when to go. All right. Or more importantly, like I tell somebody, you can have all the tools in your hand. If your gut is toxic, if the gut is not clean, if it's full of toxins, all right, uh, if it's either full of garbage and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to receive those telepathic out there. All right. So yeah, so the sun, so the sun just cycled, everybody. So the magnetic field of the earth just stopped. It literally just stopped. What does that mean? What happens is when the magnetic field breaks down, all the ultraviolet waves that normally couldn't get in because of the ozone layer, now that stuff can get in. Particles can come in, large gigantic rocks can come in, all type of stuff called meteor. Fast forward, what just happened like a couple months ago? You had the green comet, right? The green comet came too. But guess what? And remember the Master Teacher made a video, he said comets don't grow green. Dr. York said comets don't grow green. All right. So where did that green come from? That green came from the Van Allen belt. It came from the actual belt. It was a piece that broke off the Van Allen belt. All right. And due to the pole shift of the sun, it allowed the green comet to pass through the earth and travel in a spiral. All right, and it traveled for a number of days. So that's for the people that didn't know what that green comet was. Green comets do not burn green. All right, and Dr. York told people he was of the what? Green light. All right, he said those beings where he came from, the planet Riz, they glow green. All right, when they hit Earth, they grow green, and on the other side, they grow ultraviolet color or purple. All right, so they grow purple to greenish color in hue, depending on what side of the mirror they on. On this side of the mirror, when they show up to you, they look green. All right. On the other side of the mirror, when they show up, when on the other side of the mirror mean outside your planet, they burn purple gases, all right, or ultraviolet gases. These are risky beings, all right. This is can't be made up, all right. And most Nagaru children, when they come out, they got green spots on them, all right. A lot of them come out with green spots, right, indicating that they came from a star fleet of beings that grow green, all right, called Rizqians. And you can go on the pyramids. You see Osiris, he's in green, all right. You see Sebek, right, Sobek or Sabak, he's in green. You see Har on certain pictures in green. You see Isit or Arastat, or what they call Isis in green, all right. You see all these people in green, all right, because that was the original color of their school. If you even see people, you see Armand, he's in blue, all right, because what happens is this, right? When the planet was at its most potent state, all right, everybody burn, they glow different parts of the spectrum. So it depends on what side of the hemisphere you're on. That determines the color of your hue or your skin. All right. So if I'm okay, the spectrum work like this. It work from red, ultraviolet. It work from infrared light all the way to ultraviolet frequency. All right. So the spectrum, the fastest color on the spectrum is blue, like what I'm wearing now. This is fast colors, the fastest color on the spectrum, blue. That's the first color you see when you wake up in the morning. That's why the sky appears to be blue, right? But the sky is not actually blue. The sky's not actually blue. All right. The sky is actually multicolored. Ask anybody that been out their body. They'll tell you that the sky is actually multicolored. Okay. It's pretty deep. I know. All right. So that's the pole shift we talking about. The pole, your pole is shifting. All right. The pole stopped. The sun has stopped. The magnetic fields of the sun is no longer rotating. All right. It'll probably start back spinning somewhere around October. But right now it's not spinning. So that means the planet is open for all different type of what you call meteorites or extraterrestrials. So right now the vortex is fully open. So yeah, are there we talking about true or false UFOism, right? Well, we getting ready to start seeing UFOs like every day, pretty soon. All right, pretty soon they're gonna park in front of you, hop out the ship, and walk.
Now, as far as I remember, we know that they also, we're in a third dimension, you know what I'm saying, and we're going to higher level in the dimensions. Now, how does that affect, the fact of the planet raising and us going to higher dimension with other interdimensional beings?
Okay, so with the vibration changing and stuff like that, and we going from like the third density to the fifth density, right? Because you're going to the fifth dimension. All right. Also realize this too, that a dimension is nothing but a mood or a vibration, a shift in moods, or a plane. A plane is a mood. All right. So when you go on a dimension, it's not necessarily mean that you're going to another actual galaxy. It just means you're going into another state of awareness. All right. So on the fifth density level, once we become more transparent, meaning we become less dense, we can vibrate at higher levels. Thus, it allow us to communicate or come in contact with higher vibrational beings. All right, on those levels. Yeah, I know he already was vibrating on like the fourth, the seventh, or the eighth and the ninth density level. All right. So you gotta look at your numbers like this. You got 1, 3, and 5. Right? It's we call not what Lahut, Nysut, Lahut, and Malakut. All right. Those are 3 planes of existence. All right. You're in a currently, this planet is what we refer to as Nysut, right? It's most of an earthy substance. All right. And as you move in between there, Malakut will be like the fourth dimension, so to speak. All right. So that fourth, here they got 3, 4, and 5. All right. But the fourth plane is the plane of thought. That's where a lot of the angelic beings reside, in the fourth dimension. All right. Fifth density of the fifth dimension is physical, as well as the third dimension is physical. But the fifth dimension is just at a higher level of thought vibration. So yeah, as we move forward, we will be able to make contact with different beings. Also, you got to recognize this too. The beings that you're going to make contact with is your higher self, your higher beings. All right. Remember, if you're going to Man from Planet Red book, he tell you that the Anunnaki, which were the Neteru, they cloned themselves 9 times. Now, when I say the Anunnaki, I'm not talking about the Anunnaki today, because people got to realize the word Anunnaki means, Anu means on high. Na means 50. I'm breaking down the word Anunnaki. Na means 50, and Naki means beings. These beings, right? So what it's saying, Anunnaki means those beings sent down from Anu on high in groups of 50. All right. Those beings, when he was saying that, was us. All right. The Anunnaki today is not us. The Anunnaki today, if you go on 33 Commandments of Sabaeans, are the Arcturians. They took on the title of the Anunnaki now because it's just a title. All right. We're no longer using the title Anunnaki. Now we saying we Natharu. We're using the Natharu title. So now it's Natharu, or to some people the Neteru or the Nitiru. All right.
Yeah,
But keep this in mind. Yeah.
yeah, could you kind of go? Cause I know this is a thing that question a lot of people have when they see and hear about the Natharu or Neteru in ancient Kemet or Tamaray, and then hear about the Sumerian aspect, and they talk about the Anunnaki. And could you kind of tell the difference between the two? You know what I'm saying? And break down the difference between the Natharu or Neteru as opposed to the Anunnaki from Sumeria.
So okay, so let's deal with the Anunnaki, right? The Anunnaki, all right, which is an ancient Iraq today is ancient Babylon. That's ancient Sumeria. It's called Iraq today. All right. So the beings over there, right, those would be Sumerians in ancient days. All right. But however, y'all gotta realize too, what happened with us and then the Sumerian beings, it was a mix going on. You got Enki and Enlil, right? And Enki went to Africa, and Enlil, he went to the land of Nod, and and they started dealing with South America and different things of that nature. All right, they kind of divided because Enlil was over the skies, so he didn't necessarily come down and play on Earth. But Enki came down, and he went to Africa, and after he built the ziggurats, he went to Africa, and then he taught them the ancient language called Nuwapu. All right, he brought the original language back to the planet called Nuwapu. And a lot of people like Nuwapu made up. Well, no, it's not, because Nuwapu is Napatan. All right, if you want to know what Nuwapu is, on the planet it's called Napatan. All right, that's the original language of the Nuwabi. They spoke Napatan, or Napatan script. All right, which we call Nuputa. Okay, so ain't nothing made up. You can go find this stuff right now. I just gave you the information. It's called Napatan. All right, and the word Nuwabu comes from the word Nawawa. All right, and Nawawa means noob. All right, it comes from the word Nawawa, comes from the word noob in Hebrew, or Nebi. In Arabic, it means Nabiyun, which means prophet or seer. All right, and then when you take it back to ancient Egypt, and hieroglyphics become Nabat or Nu, which means gold. All right. So the Nubians or Nuwabian was the golden ones, or were the prophets or the seers for their people. So as Nuwabians, we prophesied the future. So I'm going back into the Anunnaki thing. So at one point when the master teach Anunnaki, because we go through his Anunnaki stuff all through here. When he was saying Anunnaki, he was not referring to the beings that they call the Anunnaki today. He was referring to the RIZQIans. Okay, that came down from Risk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He gave us that story. As we move forward into hereafter, he said that the Redskins pretty much hired the Anunnakis. They controlled them. They over them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Uh,
You see what I'm saying? So the Redskins are over the Anunnakis. Well, we're not the Anunnakis. The Redskins are over them.
mm-hmm.
All right. They the overlords of the Anunnakis.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So
Now going back to the Neteru.
okay,
Neteru
go
is
ahead.
nothing but another word. I'm breaking down the word Neteru. It comes from the word
Mm-hmm.
Netir, or nature. It just means Nathar. If you go back in the ancient roots in Achisaba, it means observe or watch. So the word Nathar just means observe or watch. Natharu means the watchers or the observers, right? If you were to take that word and put it in Sumeria, it called the Ngigi. The Ngigi were the 200 watchers, all right? And what happened with them is the Ngigi, they they violated galactic laws by not telling Anu what the two-third disagreeable beings was up to. Azazel, all right, Tarnush, all right. He wanted to create something better than Anu. All right. So Anu found out about it, and then he cast Tarnush or Azazel in the two-third that was working along with him, two-third Nagaru. That's what he tell you in the Holy Tablet. There was two-third dark-skinned beings that came down with Tarnush, Azazel. Now that's a different cycle. That was the cycle. There was no Makasus on the planet then. There was nobody called Arabs on the planet. All right. None of those people was on the planet then. All right. It was only us. And that's how deep it is. So yeah, back then we would be considered black devils back then. All right. I'm talking about the 2/3 of beings that fell down with Tarnush. Because in the Holy Tablets, in chapter 1, he said 2/3 of the Galactic Federation of the RIZQICs and the Natharu, they fell down. They disagreed. All right, and they got cast too. And the Ngigi, like I told you, the Watchers, they didn't report back to Anu and tell them they didn't tell them what Azazel was on or Tarnush at that time. And guess what he did? He kicked them out too. But this is what he did. When he kicked the 200 fallen angels out of the 200 Ngigis, he didn't allow them to get a body. So he left them outside the body as ghosts and ghouls and goblins. And this is the reason why you got a lot of haunted houses on the planet. You got a lot of people being visited by spirits and stuff like that because the Ngigi got kicked out, but they wasn't allowed to get in the body. So they outside hunting people right now. This is real. Can't make it up. All right. They jumping in bodies every day. When you get drunk, right, you thinning your blood out and you open up a doorway for a disembodied being to come inside you. You see what I'm saying? You open up a doorway for a disembodied being to come inside you. You follow? This is real. That's why he said we shouldn't drink, we shouldn't argue, or none of that. Because any of those things I just mentioned, arguing, if you become stressed out, if you start to worry, you open up a gateway inside your being for walk-ins to come in and control you. And they can destroy your life. They can use you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. They can plant thoughts inside your head that's not of you. All right, that's the Ngigi. Now check this out. Guess what? The Ngigi, that's our family. It ain't nobody foreign. That's our family. You know what I'm saying? So I said this, what people did with the Anunnakis in the natural, they take the terms and get them confused. All right. You got different cycles of time that took place. This is what Baba explained in the Holy Tablets. Cycles of time. And one cycle, that was us. And this cycle, that's not us. And this cycle, we know as the Natharu or the natural. All right. We're not known as, we're not the Anunnaki. Not in this cycle. All right. In a previous cycle, we was the Anunnaki. I hope that makes sense. All right. Not in this cycle. The Anunnakis are the Arcturian beings today. They're not the same. Yeah. The Anunnaki is not the same as the Natural today. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a good breakdown. I appreciate that, brother Simone. So you were talking about the man at Pris, like a man from Planet Risk, which I still have to say, besides let's set the record straight in the mind and Jesus found in Egypt, I can still go on. That are some of my favorite books all time. But could you kind of break down who and what the 24 elders are?
Okay. So it says excerpt and page, and then I'm gonna kind of go in. We're gonna go in some more UFO stuff here. And we'll kind of get back to that Anunnaki stuff. Because that Anunnaki right now is deep. It's real deep. And y'all, you shouldn't be calling on Enlil and Inky, man.
They ain't part of your crew, man.
They gonna eat you. Inky gonna eat you, man, because guess what? That ain't the same Inky we was talking about. That's a different Inky. And they might eat you, man. They might, because okay, in a nutshell, the Anunnaki right now is the Pleiadian beings. They using that title. All right. And the Pleiadian beings are flesh-eating beings, flesh and blood beings. They like blood. They like white meat. All right. That's why he ordered everybody to get off what? Get off the meat. All right. Because when the time come, you got the beings that live in the center of the earth called Shambhala, right? Or Agatha, right? They're going to come up. Now, the Anunnakis that rule that area is called RIZQIC and Nergal. RIZQIC is a female Anunnaki. All right. And Nergal is and these dark-skinned people now, these are not transparent beings. I keep telling you, people keep thinking that some white person walking. No, it ain't gonna be no Makasu. It's gonna be beings that look just like me and you in the same skin tone. They're gonna come up and start smashing you. Yeah. They eat too. All right. They eat too. It's funny, right? Man, my Moshe type, we was talking about this, and we talking about the canine teeth that we have on the side and how the difference between us and a lion and a carnivorous or carnivorous animal. The difference is the canine or carnivorous canine teeth are longer, and it's designed that, and then they got bottom canine teeth that go up too. Why? Because it's for what? The tearing of meat, the tearing of flesh. Ours are short. They just sharp enough just for us to bite into an apple, or orange, a watermelon, or something of that sort. All right. So going back to the 24 elders right here, it's right here on page 80, and Man from Planet Risk book. I'm gonna read right here so y'all can get a precise understanding of what's going on here. And then he kind of go into crash here. This is pretty deep. All right. Hold on, I'm gonna go here. What's that? 81. So it should. Okay, so it go here. Okay. So, what is the true story behind the crash you mentioned earlier? It's talking about the crash that happened with Nibiru, the planet Nibiru, right? Planet X. Nibiru launched out from the planet Riz on one of his routine trips with a crew of 144,000 members. 24 of them were the elite members, that's 24 elders, who stood 7 feet tall. Each of the 24 elders is appointed for overseeing the planet Earth. They were sent as the guardians of light or the keepers of the secrets. The elders was chosen to guard Earth for the time in one Earth day, which is equal to 23 hours and 56 minutes and 6 seconds, or 24 hours. This is also based on the equinox, which happens every 24,000 years. All right. Lined up with the 4 cycles, 2 sun cycles and 2 moon cycles, each of 6,000 years. The 24 elders' seats is occupied. This is going to get deep, right? Listen to this. The 24 elder seat is occupied by whoever human being or whatever human being who has been selected to reveal the message or bring good news. So that can be anybody. That's why I always tell everybody the 24 elder seat is not just a random select. I'm probably is. We say I'm 25th elder, right? The fifth elder, right? The 24, and that's true. But I don't have to be this year this lifetime go around. Somebody else can be selected as well. All right. And what I mean by that is whoever is available, meaning the person that's done the work for their body, right? You eating the proper fruits and vegetables, you're drinking a proper amount of water, then you'll be the person that's been selected to be in the 24 seat. It can be anybody. That's any Nagaru. Let me say that. Any Nagaru species. All right. Only Nagaru species are qualified. Any other species can't go in those seats. You have to be of Nagaru blood descent. All right. Because the Nagaru species have Nabat inside their blood or Mouth Kuzet gold. All right. They have a certain amount of monatomic gold, which a lot of our gold is gone now due to the mixing and the raping over the years. Okay. So going back to that. So they've been selected, right, to reveal the message or bring good news. Over him who has been selected to reveal the message, right, and will be one of the 24 elders. Each elder has 24 hours, which is 60 minutes, or years broken into 2 sets of 30, right? So each elder has 24 hours, which is 60 minutes, or years broken into 2 sets of 30. And in these end times, I, Yanun, the 19th elder from the 19th galaxy Ilion, manifests with my first 30 years in the year 1970. The first half, right? The first half hour of end time. So we say he was in 2000 that ended his first 30 years, right? May 8th, 2002, he was snatched up. He had to disappear, right? So he only taught us for 30 years in the light. Right, but each elder is given 60 minutes. That means they given 60 years. Basically, 60 minutes means 60 years. All right. So each elder is given an hour, right, which is 24 hours. That's one day. All right. So when we get to the year 2033, that would be one day of risky in time. And I know that sounds deep to y'all. All right, but in the year 2020, that's one day. So
All right.
it take us that long. So yeah, you can kind of go in and ask more questions. But that's the 24 elders, and that 24 elders' job is to pretty much bring the good news to the planet. Every time we
All
have an
right.
equinox shift, then that's when they come. But go ahead, yeah.
No, it's interesting because I remember reading when the book first came out, and and in the book they talk about risk and three, and the three star constellation in the 19th galaxy UN, and people thought Dr. York was crazy. Oh, look at this! But now it's all that stuff being confirmed. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
truth be told is, I keep it real, man. My mom, I used to always take all the information to my mom, and let her read. My mom, like, especially the religious stuff, you know what I'm saying? But my mom today, right now, she'd be like, yo, all that stuff that you read to me, that Dr. York was writing in that books, is now coming true. And she's a hardcore staunch Christian. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's amazing to me because it's like when I still today, I feel like, and I say this, man, like it's like that the master teacher, he's like a time traveler. It's like he's been here, seen it all before, and just had all this information, you know what I'm saying, and just gave it to us in a short period of time. It's Such an amazing thing, man. And to see the confirmation, you know what I'm saying, over and over, and all the things that he revealed just being confirmed over and over again. All right. So another question, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with uh, uh one of the like talk kind of going along with my I was just talking about like my mom and religion and stuff. Um a lot of people think from the biblical text, and you kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but I wanted you to go into more detail, like the biblical text of kind of talk about, oh, we all got to wait for Jesus to come. He's going to come off of a cloud and he's going to jump down. He's going to save everything and everybody going to be all good. Now, what dealing with the religious aspect and dealing with more realistic terms, and like you said, dealing with Christ consciousness and you being Christ, how does that, what is the, can you clarify and put more clarity in that?
Okay. So first we're gonna talk about the comment of what everybody waiting on, right? I want to talk about the comment, and if you're going to, and if you're going, I think it was what's it's first, not First Thessalonica or something like that, and it kind of goes into when the followers of Christ, people that was following Christ during Paul time, a lot of them was under the assumption that Christ had already come. So when they seen Paul, Paul was out teaching, and they was telling Paul followers that, look, listen, Christ already came. You see what I'm saying? Christ already here. Right? He already came. He already came and taught his message. But then the people that was following Paul was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? The sign of the coming of Christ is when the people fall away, the great falling away. So when everybody in the church started to fall away, that's the coming of Christ. All right, the church is going to collapse and break down. Now check this out, right? When Yanoon came in 1970, he had to insert himself into like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and all the religions you have on the planet. All right. And then he was driving those people from the church, from the mosque, you know what I'm saying? From the synagogue and all that stuff. All right. And every religion that you have on the planet, Buddhism, Confucianism, Thaiism, Zoroastrianism, all the religions you have on the planet. Right. And those people started to collapse once they, right. That was a falling away period. But people fail to realize during that time he was the angel Michael. Right. He said he was Murdoch or the angel Michael, Michael in the Bible. And Michael, uh unfortunately, Michael and Jesus is not the same being. All right. But a lot of people got it confused. Okay. If you read the book Malachi 4 and 5, it says, I said, I will come with healing in my wings, right? Before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Right. So Michael, which means, but when you look at the word Elijah, it just means my angel or angel of El. You see what I'm saying? And that was Michael in that sense, right? So everybody in the scriptures that had got it confused. When Michael came, he showed up, but during that time he was John the Baptist. All right, that's what we don't know. It was like John the Baptist was that being, because like when John the Baptist didn't even know who he was until, if you go read the Aquarius Gospel of Christ, one of the missing scrolls in that particular book, Jesus, Yeshua met John. And when he saw John, he said, dang, that go the coming of Elijah, return of Elijah. Right? So he called John the Baptist the return of Elijah. Right? And Elijah was supposed to come before Christ. You see what I'm saying? Elijah comes in to pave the way for Christ. Now, don't get me crazy. Don't let me start speaking crazy, okay? Because a lot of people gonna start going to the NOI and say, "Oh, you talking about the Elijah Muhammad?" No, I am not. All right. Now, the way the Master Jesus explained it, Elijah Muhammad was he won. He was John, the son of what was the other one? Not the
Son
son
of
of
Zebedee.
Zebedee. I think so. That's the one. But he was not John the Baptist. John the Baptist's father was Zechariah, right? I think that's what it was. Who father was Zechariah? Was it John the Baptist? One of their fathers.
So yeah, you're talking
But
about
anyhow,
they.
anyway, going, so there was two different Johns.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They weren't the same. All right, two. So you had Elijah and you had Elisha. Right, one is with a J and one is with an S. All right, and Elijah is much older than Yeshua. All right, so that means that if Honorable Elijah Muhammad was Elijah, then what's the guy who was over there with him? What's his name? What's the guy? For Muhammad. For
Yeah.
Muhammad will be younger. Well, wait a minute. Fa Muhammad would have been older than Muhammad, which was the other way around. Fa Muhammad was younger than Elijah, so that was messed up. Actually, Elijah Muhammad was just a different. He was being powered by the grade from rectangular called Creel. He's actually Elijah Muhammad right now. While we talk about UFO, he's on a spacecraft right now, flying. All right, his extraterrestrial being is called Creel. You can look it up. All right, and Yadnon was in contact with Creel. The whole time he was out here teaching. All right, and that's why Creel was communicating to him. But he said, I was Elijah Muhammad. Think about it. So he when he was challenging Yanun, he told him to correct all his books to bring his people up to speed. All right. So Elijah Muhammad was given, he prophesied to the end of Nation Islam and told them somebody was going to come with the Book of Lamb, which the Book of Lamb was the Holy Tablets. I'm just bringing y'all up to prophecy so y'all get this stuff. This is real prophecy now. Can't be made up. So the coming of Christ, right? Yeshua, right? We in the great and dreadful now. And it's the great falling away. Right? The great falling away is getting ready to happen right now. We in the great falling away. This the next, this the second resurrection. Remember, if you go in the book of Daniel was given a certain amount of knowledge. And the Archangel Michael told Daniel to keep his mouth closed until the end of time. He said, shut up. Don't say nothing right now. Wait, it ain't time. So Daniel was holding on to some. Which the more Daniel or Daniel means the judger of Elo, right? It means judgment of El. That's what his names mean, to judge. And the word Daniel comes from the word in Arabic, the Dina, like the Dean of Islam, which means judge. That's where they get the word Daniel from. So the judgment was with Daniel. So the manuscript that Daniel, the prophet Daniel was holding was a judgment. All right, it was the judgment, the day of judgment. All right. The day of reconciliation, the day of atonement, right? That 50,000 year comet that just came through, that's called the day, that's called a jubilee. That's an epoch. That's what that pole shifting happened and stuff like that. So Yeshua, according to Saturn going in Pisces, Saturn went in Pisces on Mars 7th, we are in the time of the coming of the Messiah. All right. The Christ is on the planet right now. All right. The energy of Christ is on the planet. All right. What I mean by that is, it's not one Messiah is coming, but many Messiahs are coming. All right. It's going to be a multitude of crises that wake up in these last days. Some crises are already on the rumps with it. Right. But false Christ got to come first. So you see some people teaching and they words just not holding no weight. Those are the false Christ. Then the real people are going to come. So now we're in a time where the real people is getting ready to show up. All right, and that's Yeshua. All right, so now is Christ coming back? Of course. Even Bible said that Christ was going to show up. All right, it's just that we weren't listening. All right, yes, Christ is on the planet right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a real fact. Some stuff can be made up and some stuff can't. All right, now when Christ comes, when everything fall apart, that's when Christ is going to appear. When everything go out of whack, all right, when no one knows what to do anymore, when everything become confused, that's when Christ is going to show up. All right, that's when Christ is going to show up. Somebody sent the message. That's why I have been feeling. That's why I've been feeling weird lately since December 21st, 2020. Yeah, December 21st, 2020. I had did a second. That was the Taurus field. Remember that? When I was talking about the Taurus field opened up, right? And the Taurus field open up every 20 years. But here's the trick. Check this out. The calendar is off by 3 years. So guess what? 2020 is this year. We just entered 2020.
Nah, that's that's heavy. I hope y'all follow that, but that's some heavy information.
All by 3 years, family. Okay.
Yeah.
So we in 2020 right now. So yeah,
I got you.
So go ahead, go to the next. I know we got it.
I got you. Here's a also it's wonderful since we're in the age of Aquarius, all this information come out there because things are coming together. A lot of stuff that as you know, Baba, and has been teaching us for a long time. But could you break down for the people that might not know the connection between going back kind of like we were saying earlier, the Natero, Orion, and Risk. Could you see how that those are all, how you can break down how they're all connected?
Okay. Okay, family. So the Natharu and the Natharu means it just means nature or watchers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the Natharu is the natural elements of nature. All right, which it vibrates on C major. That's the natural elements or the elemental forces of C major. Right. So when you look at Shu in Egypt and Nut and Taf's Nut, those are elemental forces. That's called Natiru or Natharu. All right. Now, what happens is this: as we grow, we personify those elements and we become those, we metamorphosize into those elements and become them. Right? Like my name is Har, which means mountainous or far away one. Right? Har also comes from the NUWAUPIC word or Sabian word Harib. And Harim means Mars. So it's the planet Mars. Mars is a warring planet. That's the warrior that comes back and behead or get rid of evil. All right. Now, when I say getting rid of evil, that don't mean killing physical people. That means destroying the ego,
Yeah.
destroying the evil within yourself. Keep this in mind. Everything is about destroying all the bad habits that you have accumulated in the last 24,000 years or 6,000 years under the moon cycle, called Shesky. All right. We are ordered. Shesky is the moon deity when the planet was called Tiamat. The Tiamat was much larger in diameters than the planet Earth. All right. Planet Earth, which they get the word Earth from Eridu, from Akkadian word. It comes from an Akkadian word called Eridu. In Arabic, it becomes Ard or Ardut. All right. And then the Egyptians used to call it Tawaret. All right. Or something like that. Or Ta. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So that Earth, the Earth that we're in now, was a chip off of the previous Earth
Mm-hmm.
due to a collision that took place with Nibiru. Nibiru is a planetary size shift, a mothercraft, right, that actually hovers above us. It travels in a circle. But what happened is it was on its normal course it was going from other galaxies from Tiamat to planet RIZQIC. And you have the planet called the unknown planet called Maldak, which they used to call it Vulcan. All right. And what happens is on the way home, Riz veered off his axis and it crashed into the planet Maldak. And then the Maldakian beings got mad and they started launching missiles at the planet Nibiru. And the four winds of the planet Nibiru, which was the west wind, chipped away. And when it chipped away, it landed in the center of the earth. And it became a sun, a 600-mile sun. So the 600-mile sun is the west wing of the planet Nibiru. All right, that's where you get your center sun from. All right. So the Maldivian beings, there was a strife going on between them and the RIZQICians. All right. And they wound up coming here and they wound up doing stuff and they created what you call the troglodyte. These troglodyte beings. All right. And it was more of a self-serving being for the Maldekians. And the troglodyte beings came here and they started exploring Earth. Y'all got to keep this in mind. There's been many different planetary beings coming to this planet. All right. And we've been fighting them. The RIZQICians been fighting them to get the minerals off this planet. Everybody been coming to Earth, or we call Taha or Ptah Nun, to exploit this planet for different minerals: gold, silver, titanium, iridium, oxymium, rhodium, all the minerals you can think about on the planet. You got the phosphorus metal, you got emerald stone, you got the ruby stone that grow here, the lapis lazuli. You see all those precious metals? Everybody, you can, because what happened is they can melt that mineral down into a liquid form and they could drink it. And then they can give them all type of energy. Just like you do gold. Gold, you can melt gold down. What? My wife, she's a jeweler. So she melt gold down. You can melt it down. You can drink it too. You can liquefy it. All right. So yeah, so the Anunnaki, but the Natiru and the RIZQICians and Orion, they all the same people. All right. The Natharu is the RIZQICians at a different density level. All right. When the RIZQICians come down to Earth and personify themselves, they become a Natharu or a Nitiru. all right, when they on the planet Earth. They have to incarnate in a flesh suitable for the atmosphere that they live in at that time. But the RIZQICs are more humanoid in feature, but they reddish tone. Most RIZQICs are reddish tone. They got square backs. Some of them, they go from 6 foot to 7 foot. All right. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
All right. They real lanky. You know, some of them got big brown eyes. Some of them got slanted eyes. All right. These are the different features of the RIZQIC beings. All right, from the 19 galaxy. Okay, so Orion, let's go to Orion star system. Orion, in the center of Orion, it got 3 stars. And those 3 stars line up with the 3 pyramids in Giza. Rahu Bat, Zamal, who just came in, Rahu Bat. All right, they line up with the 3 pyramids in Giza. Okay. Now, what happened is, and I think it might have been the man from Planet Riz book or the Black Book, one of them.
It was Math Flat Risk.
Yeah, but he said that Ilion was really Orion star system. Ilion is the 19 galaxy. But he told us the 19 galaxies was Ilion until we was able to catch up. All right. So everybody looking for Planet Riz. Planet Riz is in the Orion belt. You can look at it right now. Every 70 days, you can see the Planet Riz with the naked eye. This is real stuff. But the way that the master teacher write, and I'll explain this to my Mashaitat, is that he'll be talking about one subject, and then he jumped to something else quickly. All right. See? Now look, I just told you about the 24 elders. I'm gonna give you an example right here. Now watch this. He just switched from the 24 elders. So right here. Now check this out. Nibiru came counterclockwise. I was just telling you about how the planet rotates counterclockwise. That's our normal course. We travel counterclockwise. So now the planet going counterclockwise. So what's happening, y'all? We're back. All right. The RIZQICs descended down on the planet now. All right. The planet Earth is getting ready to be an extraterrestrial planet. In fact, everybody on the planet is an extraterrestrial because none of you are from here. He told you, Yanun told you here that the Nagaru or the Negro species, they came by way of a meteorite inside of a dolphin. And they crashed the meteorite into the Indian Ocean. And your germ grow undersea. They sent you in the form of a germ inside the dolphin, and the germ got in the water and they started to sprout. So you was born in the Indian Ocean. Because look, and people don't get that. Nazi said this too, y'all know. He said, in my last life, I used to be Persian. Why? Because the Persian Gulf is next to the Indian Ocean. Because we crashed into the Indian Ocean. So at one time, we was in the Persia. You see, we talking about cycles of time. But of course, some NUWAUPICs might hear this and say, oh, show me that. But it's all in the doctrine. We just won't sit down and study. What else did he say? Somebody was talking about the Bentley that we got on. He also said he has a clone in the Man from Planet Riz book. Where's that clone at? You know what a clone at, Jamal? Anybody know what a clone at? In Tibet. He said he has a clone in Tibet. How did he know he had a clone in Tibet? He said one day he was walking and teaching and smoke came from his mouth. And he don't smoke. And what he found out, his double smoke, cigars. The double smoke. Fast forward, we got a thing called a patar. In India, what is it called in India? A bindi. Okay, but people don't listen though. But he told you that his clone is in Tibet. But you don't hear him though. Because we want to hear everything else. We don't want to hear what he's really saying. All right, that's an extraterrestrial. All right, you want to know if do extraterrestrial exist? It exists. Yes, it's extraterrestrial right now on the planet. We read extraterrestrial books. How do you know that? Because prior to 1970, tell me about a Negro telling you about different star systems. Can't find it. That's how you know. All right. How did that being know it was a planet with 3 suns? Now, check this out because people think this stuff made up. I just told you it's Orion. But all you got to look it up. You can look it up. It's called Rilo 7. Look it up. RYLO 7. Planet with 3 suns. All you got to do is type it in Google. It's called Rilo 7. And planet with 3 suns going to, that's the proof right there. Because a lot of people say, we talking, we don't get evidence. I'm giving you evidence. All right. So, yes, Nibiru and so Orion and Riz. Okay. Now, check this out, y'all. Y'all got to keep this, y'all got to understand this. Okay. So, that became Riz. All right. But there was another Riz before that. All right. The Riz that was before that was on the other side of the Milky Way. All right. That current Riz was in the 16 galaxy called Orion. The previous Riz before that was in the 19 galaxy. But the 16 galaxy is the planet we're in right now. This is 16 galaxy. So we say we're a long way from home, but home ain't that far already. Home is going to come to us. Because if you're going in the book, on the Holy Tablets, which is the book of the Lamb, that Honorable Elijah Muhammad spoke about that will come, in the first chapter, he tell you, on the first page, he said, your planet or your solar system soon to become a tri-solar system. So the planet Earth is going to become a 3-sun solar system. You heard it from us first. We the only people teaching this right knowledge. Your planet is getting ready to terraform to a tri-solar system. All right? Can't be made up. All right? And all your top government officials know this stuff. All right? They know it's getting ready to come. Nothing they can do about it. They try. But listen. The Pleiadian beings, the beings from Dracos, and by the way, the Draconian beings, they put the Pleiadian beings on to be eating. All right. We got a book called My Brother the Extraterrestrial. His sister questioned her brother, Yanun, about this stuff, and he explained. And she asked him, well, can the Garus be eating? He said, well, the Draconian beings like white meat. Okay. So in order for us to be eating, we have to take in eat flesh. If you're eating chicken, white meat, and stuff like that, then you can put yourself on the menu because they can smell it. All right. So the Pleiadian beings was a food source for them. They was eating the Pleiadian beings. Then the Pleiadian beings made a deal with the Draconians and said, look, y'all ain't got to eat us no more. We got somebody for y'all. So they put the Caucasian race, the Makasu, on the menu to be eaten. Yes, it's real. Really real. Some stuff can be made up and some stuff just can't be made up. All right. And guess what the Makasu is saying? The Makasu said they want to put you on the menu. So they created a food for you. Isn't it ironic? The planet is going green. Everybody's becoming a vegetarian. Are you eating a vegetable? How you know you're eating a vegetable? How you know somebody not getting you prepared to go on a menu? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just throwing it out there though. You never know. All right. Okay. So yeah, that's to that. So Orion, yes, Orion and Riz is one the same. It's Ilium. Okay. The 3 suns is above us. It's also it was 3 suns, Series A, Series B, and Series C. That was also a 3-sun constellation. So there's many 3 constellations or galaxies with 3 suns in it. Riz is not the only planet with 3 suns. Even Sirius had 3 suns.
You know, I think it's interesting because we're talking, about the extraterrestrials, especially extraterrestrials that are melanated. There's a tape that Baba put back in the Ansar days. I think it's called Who and What You Are. I think that's the name of it. And anybody watching this, if you have any question about who Baba Yanun, Dr. York is, I think you should go listen to that video. There's a couple, about 3 or 4 different versions, but he goes into great detail of the mission, his mission, the mission of the elders and etc. But him specifically being who he is, and his mission to elevate us in the past issues in which nature qualified a being like that to raise up their children. You know what I'm saying, in this day and time. Very, very, but also the book the good brother Good Zamal was talking about now, My Brother the Extraterrestrial. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to realize that, like, we've been, like the brother was saying earlier, dealing with religion, we've been dumbed down so low and given this doctrine, this flat doctrine, in which our doctrine is a star doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Our doctrine comes from the stars. Our ancestors come from the stars, from different star constellations. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important information to hear. Not to just push the fact of all this extraterrestrial talk, because now all this is coming. It's all being presented to you now. You know what I'm saying? We just fortunately have been forewarned by a being that's been um, shown by qualified by nature to present this information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That being
exactly.
Baba Yanun.
Tour,
You know what
tour.
I'm saying? So, oh boy, woo, man,
It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot, man. I hope
y'all done,
everybody enjoyed that. Y'all have to. He'll put it up here. We watch it. We'll put it on the platform so y'all can see it.
yeah, man,
But and
yo,
y'all have to get into it. Yo, UFOs. We say what? True or false? UFOs are real. I told you. You have what you call UFOs and IFOs. A UFO is an unidentified object. A IFO is a identified object. The UFOs are not from the planet. The IFOs are from the planet Earth. All right. Those IFOs are being piloted by earthly beings on this planet. All right. High secret society beings. People that's in secret societies, they got the keys to those IFOs. All right. You have to be in some type of high ranking code to be a part of this. You got to be in that society to get in those IFOs. Only they know. All right. I'll keep this to myself. I won't mention names, but I got a very, very deep relative that's close to me. All right. And he connected, but he told me and showed me an IFO. All right. They do have IFOs. When you see a ship in the sky, that's not all time an unidentified object. That could be an IFO coming from this planet. All right. Now, this is the thing here. When you see a UFO, the UFO is not always coming from outside in. The UFO might be coming from inside up, because there's UFOs and there's extraterrestrial beings living under the water. All right. They found out that if you go so far in the ocean, you go into another dimension. Right. That under the water lies another dimension. It's like almost like when you go in the ocean, you can go so and you wind up in another dimension. There's no more water. What separates us from other dimension is the firmament. The firmament is actually a body of water. Really, it looks like a sky, but that's really a water. That's an ocean there. And when you come out, you can see the liquid falling off of the ship as you go into another galaxy. Okay, all right. You hear me? Life is easy. The lie has been reversed. All right.
no, man,
No.
brother, I wanted to thank you, you know what I'm saying, for, presenting this information, because right now, this conversation we're having right now, it's a very important conversation, because like you said earlier, it's going to be more and more common. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More and more common. And we're seeing it as of today. And another thing is that people have to understand is that there are a lot of distractions that are happening in the news, just like all that stuff that happened in 19, 20, all that stuff. There's a lot of distractions because there's big time things that are happening on this planet. And another thing you have to realize is that, like he was saying earlier about the sun cycle and this time coming in effect. Now, this is the day and time in which, everything comes back. We start to lose. We start to remain. Our amnesia is going away. We start to remember this, and we needed a being like Baba Anu to give us this information so we can reawaken and remember who we are, as gods and goddess on this planet. That's a reality. You know what I'm saying? But brother Nysut, I hope you can come back on again, man. You know what I'm saying, and build again on a different subject. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? It
yeah.
was a
Yeah, I'll be
pleasure
back.
having you. You know what I'm
I'll be back,
saying?
no doubt, man. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna come back. I'm definitely gonna come back. Just invite me out. We'll create another topic. This is an electrifying topic. I know people are gonna want more, so we'll add it into it. It's other topics to talk about. Even if you look at the financial system, but that's for another day. But we'll start to go in there and stuff like that. But just a little bit of advice for everybody. You need to start fasting every day, intermittent fasts. Do intermittent fasts and up your water intake, and stuff like that. And then you need to meditate. All right, you need to start performing those 9 breath exercises every day and chant. All right, you have to chant more because, like I say, the velocity of the planet is speeding up. That means the vibratory rate, as we were speaking about earlier, is getting higher. And if you're moving slower, you're going to lag behind. And if you're moving slower, it can cause you heart palpitation. You can actually have a heart attack. Your kidneys can stop, your livers can stop, a lot of stuff can stop if you're moving too slowly behind. So you have to make sure you breathe, you chant, and stuff like that. And y'all got to realize something. You even because look, that's not just me. You see all these NUWAUPIans out here and Sabians out teaching, and y'all just think these people just talking crazy. All right, they're not talking crazy. Who's another brother out there teaching? That's not really with us. Billy Carson. You see him? Don't he remind you of an extraterrestrial? All right, it can't be made up. You see Young Elder out there, right? You got your brother Young. You got the Young Feet on out there, lightweight. You got Sun Ra out there. All right, there's a lot of people out there speaking right now. All right, I'm just naming a few
You
of the people
know,
that's out there. Dr. Neville Root, a lot of them.
yeah, oh yeah. It's like the seeds have been planted. Like Baba planted these seeds. You know what I'm saying? They just continuously grow, and are like almost like replicas. You know what I'm saying? In its own right of spreading this information. And here's the thing. I think it's very important that people have to understand is that you know this doctrine and this way of life that the master teacher gave us. It's here to as a guide. You know what I'm saying? A guide to keep us in line and to elevate us for these day and times. You know what I'm saying? Pateract away. You know what I'm saying? When you have a family, back in the day we had the Holy Tabernacle family book of Holy Family Ministries, the family book. These had all guidelines. Of all you have to do is follow these at your family to give, to make the your family um, to move at peak maximum, what's the word? To get your family going right, you know what I'm saying? Eating right, praying right, you know what I'm saying? All these things, the way. These are things that are very important, these disciplines that we have to have in these day and times, you know what I'm saying? And he gave us all the whole culture, the language, you know what I'm saying? That the outformation, the information, broke down the religion. Yo, if you're looking for it, Baba Yanun has put it all. He's dedicated his whole life for us. You know what I'm saying? And this information, so we can get in line, man. So it's a very important day and
Sure.
time. And I think every single day, you know what I'm saying. I think what I'm saying the master teacher for what he sacrificed, he did for us. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for the information. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he's shown me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say much more than that, but Nysut, my good brother, we're gonna have to do another topic. We're gonna talk
All
about it.
right,
What we're
we
gonna
get it.
do? We're gonna come back and hit them hard, right?
So we're gonna end it. So if you want to follow me at Miracamp underscore uh Nysut underscore Har. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at as Mooj My Way Nysut Har. Just look me up and it pop right up. Also, I just put out a new shoe called Egyptics. You can go to my website is www.planet-24.com. That's www.planet-24.com. So that's Planet 24. Please go and get those shoes. Order them right now. I got spirulina gold on there. The spirulina gold is good for you because, like I say, it helps with your lucid dreaming and stuff like that. And it pretty much raises your vibratory frequency because the green food actually amplified the cells in your body, allowing you to time travel at night, to astral project and stuff like that. It prepares you, all right, for this nice little journey that we're going through right now. So those are the pretty much things. You also please support my good Zamal, my good brother right here. All right. You see his cash app right there. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna say his cash app is PDR Corp. That's $ PDRCORP. Please leave a free will offering for him. And if you would like to leave a free will offering for me, my cash app is $new NWNEW transform. That's new transform. $new transform. All right. So if y'all like to support us, go ahead um, at your own will. All right. Well, with that being said, y'all already know how I say life is easy and the lie is being reversed. Until next time.
That's it. Peace and love, everybody. We're gonna come hard next time. Again, the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. If you have not, please already follow, like, and share. Still follow, like, and share this, and also go to polkadot.rabbitpodcast.com. Check out my book. I got another book coming out soon. You know what I'm saying? Very soon. Actually, working on the cover now to finalize it. So stay tuned for that. The Good Brother, like I said, follow the Good Brother in the Har. You know what I'm saying? Great build tonight, brother. And we out of here. Peace and
Y'all know
love.
what it is.
Wadu,
I do.
Musar, and
And Tawakun to the Zamal Atun Ra down there, 99. Tawakun to you. I appreciate it. We appreciate you. We're gonna continue to bring content to this social media platform. All right, everybody. Wu Ashuk. Wadu.
Well, shook. Wadu.